Where are we going this week? After so many weeks off, let's head back to Ireland. After all, it is St. Patrick's Day, so we'll compare to that as well. Hello again, I'm Nathan. Welcome back to WasntMyFault. Has been a couple of weeks since I last did one of these. Christmas and work and just sorting out all different stuff and upgrading the computer and lots and lots of different things. You see, I've got a real table. If you watched my other videos, you would have seen I did a Samsung review with this table. It's so much better than the ironing board I used to use. Okay, so this is the Jameson Caskmates Stout Edition, I believe. Doesn't say that, but yeah. So it's the Stout Edition. So, what does it say on there? Whiskey finished in craft beer barrels. Hopefully this is better than the beer that was made with some whiskey, because that was not good. In my opinion, it wasn't very good anyway. I did enjoy it. I prefer one or the other. And it was, not my sort of beer anyway. But stout, oh yeah, I like good old, what's it called? Guinness, that's the one. See, Irish one, I completely forget. Same as usual then. Glug, 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 glug. I will do the normal way I usually do videos, the very haphazard way. I will test it in all the different ways you could enjoy whiskey, but I shall also, I haven't even started yet and I can't talk, compare it to the classic Jameson. It's only a little one, because I finished my big one a while ago. I tend to keep this in a decanter, like the one in the TV show Lucifer. If you've ever seen that, you may have noticed I use some of the glasses sometimes as well, because I love it, it's cool. And it's nice and cheap, and it's nice, it tastes good if I just want a quick bit of whiskey, just after a long day of working from home, yeah, whatever. But anyway, I use my decanter, and it looks nice, and it's quite nice pouring from there. And I don't want something too expensive in it, because the seal isn't necessarily the best in the world, so it may evaporate and change the flavour. Something like Jameson, you can't go wrong. You can just drink it, it's nice, you don't have to have it with ice or anything else. It's just a really nice flavour. Anyway, let's carry on. So, Stout Edition. It's quite dark. We shall see comparison with a normal one. Some of the sort of familiar biscuity, vanilla-y kind of notes to it, but there is a background of kind of dark chocolate, a bit of grass as well, which you sometimes get a little bit of that. There's a Guinnessy sort of, I don't know if it's hops, something like that, but it's that kind of, the bitterness. It's weird because it smells familiar, but it has sort of differences to it, which is quite unusual. It's got some of the notes of the normal one, then it changes it up. In fact, I'm going to pour the other one, so I can compare the nose before I do anything else. May as well. I can already tell the difference in colour. Ever so slightly. All I was pouring it did look. Don't know what I was doing then. My camera's messed up. Anyway, as I say, as I was pouring it, it did look a little bit lighter in colour. Stout, regular. Very, very slight difference. You may not even see that on camera, but the stout is a little bit darker. Only very slight difference in shade. Yeah, that's a lot lighter. I said it's the distinctive stout sort of smell I'm getting from it. Some of the flawless, but it's just everything's kind of been turned up. Just a lot more to it. Well, have to taste it, find out. That's weird. I've got to say, there's a little bit more kind of fruity tones to it, whereas this, which I will get to in a moment, tends to be sort of biscuity, vanilla, caramel, that kind of thing. It has that in it, but it's again the kind of hop kind of flavours. I'm not sure if that's even the right word for it, but if you know what I mean, that kind of flavour you get from stout and other beers, it's quite interesting. slightly oily. It's still very smooth. That's what I would say about this in general. Like the biscuity is not quite there as much. A lot stronger sort of spicy flavour on the tail end as well. A little bit more woodiness to it, I guess. The moment it comes into your mouth, you kind of get the smell and the taste of the flame at the same time, and it is that kind of the Guinness kind of flavours and that sort of profile. The sort of darkness sort of hits you in the bitterness. It definitely does. It's quite interesting. All right, back to the original Jameson. Yeah, it's got a lot of the same flavours, but they're a lot more subtle. This one is kind of, yeah, Jameson flavours there. The stout one is just there. It's got the same flavours, but then it's got the extra ones as well, and they're a little bit more vibrant, I suppose. Yeah, more vanilla, caramelly, sort of biscuity, that kind of thing. It's definitely in that one. Yeah, more chocolatey, more floral, that type of thing, rather than the vanilla. It's a little bit darker in flavour, a little bit more bitter, I suppose. It's the best way to describe it. That's nice. It's, once again, it's one you can just happily drink and not have to think too much about it. It's got a little bit more complexity there, which is quite nice. But yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's carry on and do what we usually do, and coffee, water, ice, and a cocktail. Be right back. Okay, first things first. A drop of water. Just see if it opens up the flavours and the aromas and so on. That's odd. It's a lot sweeter smelling. It's more the sort of caramels, the biscuitiness and the vanilla kind of showing through. Not so much the dark flavours. It kind of sweetens it up. It's a lot more fruity. There's still the little bit of hop kind of flavour to it, but not as much. It's a lot sweeter. Weird is that? Adding a little bit of water has just made it kind of sweet and more sort of floral and fruity. Very peculiar. What will it do to coffee, ice and a cocktail? I wonder. Okay, everything's lined up as per usual. And now comes the time to pour everything. I'm going to do it without spilling any, is always a good achievement. Ice. Pepsi Max, as always. Favourite coffee, and an old fashioned. It's not the best ice in the world, but it'll do. Get every drop in there. Right. That over there, out of the way. Right there, in fact. There we go, that's better. Right. Where to start? Start by giving everything a little bit of a mix so it has the best chance in the world. We do want it mixed up, we don't want to have it all separated. We want a good mix of whiskey and of ingredients. Here we go, okay. With ice. A little bit of the floral smell. Not a lot of else with ice, as expect in this kind of glass as well, so let's go straight to it. Slight sweetness to begin with. classic kind of Jameson flavours you expect. Then it hits you with a bitterness. So it kind of goes sweet, vanilla-y, that kind of thing, and sort of fudge, that kind of flavour. And then it kind of goes into like dark chocolate, coffee, those sort of flavours. And the bitterness. That's quite nice. If you like bitter, yeah, that really has like a really strong bitter aftertaste, which didn't get with the water or the normal. That's quite interesting. Look at that. And I'm still getting the bitter aftertaste. It really, really lingers. It's hard to place exactly what the bitterness is. So it's not quite coffee, it's not quite stout, it's not quite dark chocolate. There's not, I don't want to say a chemical kind of bitterness, but it's along those sort of lines. It's quite strong. It must be quite oily then. Yeah, that bitterness really does linger with that. It's very strange. Again, it's bringing the kind of bitterness, I'm guessing, from the stout. That's quite nice. Again, it's got the lingering bitterness. It takes some of the sweetness out of the cola. It's Pepsi, it's sugar-free, so it's got that sort of fake sweetness that I'm kind of used to, because I don't really like sugar. But it takes the edge off that and just makes it a lot more bitter. What in the world is it going to do to black coffee? Black coffee is already bitter, which is what I like about it. But if this has made the ice cube, has made it more bitter, the Coke has made it more bitter, coffee more bitter? It'll be interesting. Not a lot. A bit disappointed. Okay, the ratio of coffee to whiskey compared with Coke and whiskey and ice to whiskey is obviously way, way off. There's a hint of something there, but I wouldn't say definitively, oh yeah, there's whiskey in this coffee. It doesn't taste like that. It actually takes a slight edge off the bitterness, which will sound weird after I've said everything else is more bitter, but it's definitely taking the bitterness out of it a little bit and just leaving it kind of more mellow. It actually makes the coffee taste more like instant coffee. I don't drink instant coffee, I don't enjoy it. Maybe I'm a snob, I don't know. But anyway, it tastes more like that. It's weird. I wasn't expecting it to taste more like sort of Nescafe, something like that, rather than normal ground coffee. That's kind of peculiar. Okay, old fashioned. I'm not expecting a lot, because Jameson typically isn't that great in old fashioned. Changes the bitterness. The bitterness of the orange has been replaced with the bitterness of the stout. So it just makes it bitter in a different way. Which, I think, as I've said before, in old fashioned you want something that's a little bit more bold and the flavours kind of shine through a little bit more, whereas Jameson is more of a kind of pleasant and just kind of a well-rounded sort of base level that you can kind of add things to. This, the bitterness of the orange bitters, obviously they're bitter, and the sugar, there's no sweetness in it at all. It is just all bitterness. It's all orange bitterness and stout bitterness. That's it. It's just a bitter drink. And it loses the complexity, which I like in an old fashioned, where you have the sweetness, then the bitter, then the alcohol, and it just kind of, it combines nice. And if you have it with some bourbons, you may get a bit of cherry in there. Don't really get that. All the subtle flavours you get from a Jameson, which make it nice, like the vanilla, the sort of biscuitiness, the fudge and that sort of thing, is just completely drowned out. It's gone, which is, it's not great. It is just a bitter drink now, which is a bit disappointing. Expected, but disappointing. It's not as nice, but anyway, let's try something else. I haven't gone back to that. It's still like Nescafe. Yes, it's got that aftertaste that I often find with sort of freeze-dried and instant coffee. It's got that kind of bitterness in it, almost like it's burnt, I suppose. But that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from it. It definitely makes it taste more like an instant, not a great thing. No, I do quite like that. It takes the sweetness out, makes it a little bit more bitter. Again, not a huge sort of alcohol flavour from it. And that just gets more and more bitter. The ice seems to take all of the sweetness out. And there it is, and it's just getting bitter and bitter and staying bitter and then a little bit more bitter. Interesting. Okay, back to the original with a little bit of water. It should have settled down now. Yeah, the stoutness is there. That's nice. Like that. Okay, so it is another 40% by volume, so it's, once again, you don't expect something from Jameson to be of cask strength or anything like that. So it's standard, it's nice, it's actually quite pleasant, makes a nice change from the normal Jameson. If you like something a little bit more bitter, not so much of the vanilla and biscuit, then maybe this is one for you. If you like stout, then give it a go, I'd say. I've enjoyed it, it's been a nice one, so thank you very much for joining me again. I shall hopefully be doing a lot more of these now. I've got a shelf full of whiskey that I had over Christmas, and an interesting whiskey experiment. I have a mixing kit, so I can actually try blending my own whiskey. That should be interesting, so please join me again next time. Subscribe if you haven't, please like the video, comment as well, and see me again soon. Bye bye.